Hey, it's Hunter, your craft doctor, and in this video I'm going to show you how to draw a Kagune with Copic markers. So we are going to be drawing Kaneki's Kagune. I got this little acrylic figure in a looped anime box, and I've just been using him as a reference. As you can see, he's got, or you can see all the color and detail in him, so I've just been using him as a reference. Now, I have had this idea for such a long time, and I've waited until I got Copic markers, and now that I have some, I have done it. So I thought I was watching Steven Universe, and Lapis Lazuli, as you know, her wings are made of water, and it comes from her gem on her back. And I was watching it, and I was thinking, well, that kind of looks like a Kagune. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do a crossover from Lapis and Tokyo Ghoul. So I drew her the way that I would like, and I made her a ghoul with the one ghoul eye, and I'll be drawing in the last Kagune and teaching you all how to do it. So I'm using a R27. It is cadmium red. And so first what you do is you add in like these veins. So you don't really have to go in any order. If you can kind of like shake them and make them look weird, that makes it better. And don't keep them straight. You know, make some loops, some turns, and keep going. Just add them everywhere. You make them thicker, that would be good. And just keep adding them. So once you've added all your veins, or whatever you want to call them, you can make some thicker because you are going to be putting gray around them, and that can sometimes bleed into it and make the light red darker, and you want some of it to shine through. So then go in and add some shadow. Now you got to remember which ones you're shadowing with is the only problem with this. But you just go in, add red in places that you think needs it, and then make sure you color over that with your gray. This will add that gray red look that is in him. There. Now once you have that, I'm using N4, which is a neutral gray. And it's neutral gray number 4. And I'm starting off down at the base, right at her gem. And then I'm just letting the marker bleed on the paper. I'm slowly going to work my way up. And once I get to about here, I'll stop. Now, as you can see, I've actually went a little further up than I originally planned. See, I planned to stop here. However, I stopped up here, and that's just to add a good tone and to get it to stop. And you can see the darker places in here where I colored over that shading, but be sure you leave your main vein. Like, do not, whatever you do not touch those right now. You want them to shine through because you will need a bright color. As you can see through here, once you get it done, you will need a brighter vein shining through. But do color over the shadow, and so it'll have that red in there. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to add shadow. So I do this with my 100 black and my neutral gray 8. And what you do, I'm going to start with black so I can blend it in. All at the curves here, you can see how it curves. You'll just fill in black and just blend it in. Right here's a curve, and here's a curve. And don't worry about the curves at the start because that has to be light. And then maybe here, but definitely around in here, here, and here. So just start shading with your black. You can wiggle it and get it to bleed. Start putting it all in here. You will also notice that around the veins with the light grays, I didn't like go all the way to it, and that's because like here you can see these little white specks. We're going to go back over it with red, and it'll bleed in and just make it look more blended. So just add your black in this curve however you want. Don't be afraid to go over these red shadows, because once again that is just for like texture. And you can like make a vein from the red shadow. So I'm just going to go right here, and you can see I made that little red spot. I hope you can see that right there. And then just kind of extend your shadow out a little bit more than it's intended. And then I always put a little black in other places too, just as a second shadow. And you can even go down in here where you know it's not a shadow, but you do want some other dark places. And then right here, just shadow him in. Okay, so that's a tip that I've learned with these Copic markers. Because they are new, they do have a lot of ink stored up. And you just have to pay really close attention to the nib, because that has happened to me several times since I've used Copic markers. I'll just be coloring and then it'll drip heavily. Since I am new to Copic markers, I have no idea what causes this, other than they are very new. So, lesson learned, always pay attention. And now that I have the shadows in here where I want them, I'm gonna add a few more along the way, and you can always come back to black, but don't go too heavy with black because it is a really dark and harsh color. So then we'll just go with N8, which is my neutral gray 8. Then we'll go in all the places that I want to actually have darker gray. And then we'll color them in. Okay, probably on camera you can't tell. It probably looks the same, that it looks like I'm just coloring with another black. But in person, you really see a difference. So I'm just going in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going in between, and I'm actually going to bring back my N4. So I'm probably going to not use my black anymore because I've already added enough shadow. So I'm going to be switching between N8 and my N4 in here and just continuing adding grays, because you don't want everything to be black and dark up here. You gotta have some other tones and textures in there. So then I will take my red, my N20 or R27, excuse me, and then color everywhere in this black. Try not to make your reds too dark. Once it mixes with that black, we'll contaminate just a little bit of the red. Don't let it be completely. So that will add more, and then we're going to keep going down with my red, and just on the veins we're going to add or recolor them, fill in those white gaps I left. And when the red does touch the gray, it leaves that red gray. That is gorgeous in this piece, but don't overdo it. Like, don't just color the entire thing. You want to like pick and choose where you want it. So by adding this red up in here, especially in the black, it actually lightens it, but then keeps that misty, kind of mysterious shadow going on. So you can even go down in here and fix, just go over your veins again, your main ones, fill in those white I left, choose where you want that heavy red shadow at. go. I'm liking that. Even just, you know, do the flick and the feathering. Now I'm going to go back with my N4. Add a little more detail and depth into it. And you just keep playing around with it. Be sure never to touch your main veins until you get there. And once you do get in here, of course, these main veins are going to be darker. So you can just like feather your N4 over it to like wash out some of that red. But don't wash all of it out. You want some of your main veins to be pure and broader. I'm going to have these right in here be a shadow vein. But I want this here, this main vein, to show through really good. So I'm not going to touch him. But blend in all your black. So, like I said, don't overuse the black, because you do have to blend it in good, because it is your darkest, of course, and it's going to be harsh on the Kagune. So add him here. As you see, it's starting, the more you add, since these are Copics, and they're glorious, their alcohol and everything blends good. Just keep adding, and remember, you can go back in to your red shadow and add more gray to give it a different feel, especially in here. Now since I've done that, go down in here, add a little more my N4. In the places that I didn't add a red shadow, just go back, even over it. Just don't touch your main veins still. You want them to be bright and pure. Okay, now go back to your red, and then keep coloring in. Especially when you have your red, make sure you go over your main veins to make them stick out even more. So keep adding textures and stuff the way you like it. And then I always found that I got this in a blending trio. It is the Y00 Barium Yellow. And you probably won't be able to see this on camera, but you can see my strokes I've used here. And if I think that this red, maybe in here or right here, needs to be lighter, all I do is I take my Barium Yellow Y00 and I like color in. And I just keep saturating that and letting the alcohol mix in and just bleed. And yes, your nib does get just a little bit, but since these are Copic and they're magic, all you gotta do is just clean it off. And it looks like nothing ever touched it. So if I wanted that to be lighter, I just keep saturating and just keep going. I like to go over my reds, especially up in here with my yellow, to brighten that up. And this is another way you can blend in your black, is make it lighter by using this color. Anyway, back to here. So you can probably see that spot forming now, right in here. Bring the page closer to you. Right here. And then just take your red, lay it in there, and you have a bright red shadow. I'll bring it close to you. See? There it is. Right there. So just keep adding shadows. Keep using your main colors such as red. Keep adding in red shadows. Keep using your N4. And I strongly suggest that you keep using your N4 and red mostly once you get to this point to blend in that black. And then keep adding lighter. Add red shadows. And just have fun with it. Make it cool. Make it the way you want it. You can see my other ones, how I've added a lot of red shadow in certain places and not. And you can see that this one still needs some work. So I'm going to finish working on it, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I've played with this and played with this until I think I love it. It is still wet, you can feel it and see. But this is my piece. I haven't signed her yet. And I am in love with this. So I drew her. I looked at reference photos. Shame me if you will. But I did draw her, and I've colored her, and I'm in love, honestly. And so I hope you all can, use what I've showed you in this video. Let's turn that light out. To help you draw, and I hope it's taught you everything. Here is the one that we did. You can see all the different shadows and blending and stuff. No, I am not perfect, so I did go out the lines. And I do not have a colorless blender yet. That is definitely a must if you're a beginner. And there it is. I love it. And here's the ones I did earlier. There's that one. This one down here. Oh gosh, you can see so many mistakes of me going out the line. Oh well, I love it. And then this is the first one I did, and I don't know, that one, I just love that one so much. But here she is. This is the Lapis Ghoul. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something by it. Please like this video and subscribe if you want more videos. I hope you all like this Copic Me tutorial. I am very much a beginner. I've literally had these for a week, and I love them to death. I do recommend them. Here is Kaneki, if you can see in comparison. I think they look amazing. I hope you all draw Kaneki or just anyone and now I hope you all know how to draw him. Thanks for watching this video once again.